Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Q&A video where I answer your questions. And I have a lot of questions to go through this week, and a lot of information I'm going to be giving you guys. So this will be a good one. This will be a really good one. We're going to start out with a question from Janet Bailey, which is actually Gary. Gary, I don't know. I guess he uses his wife's account, but yes, Gary. He asked the question, show your Dynamite Entertainment comic collection. Well, I cannot show my entire Dynamite collection because it is massive. I have about 5 short boxes that are dedicated to Dynamite. So I have like a Vampirella one, I have like a Red Sonja one, I have a Panthera one, I have like a whole bunch of Dynamite comics. So I'm going to show you some cool covers. I picked out some random ones, but they're incentive covers, so they're kind of the more fancy covers. But they are good ones. So I figured, hey, I'll show you a nice taste of Dynamite comics. A lot of the Dynamite comics, I admit, I buy them purely for the cover. Just, I love the covers, and I'm honest about it. So I've read a few of the stories, but most of the time I don't read the stories. I just like the covers. And speaking of a great cover, I'll show you this one. This is a Vampirella. I'm not sure what issue number it is. It's just like one of these Virgin variants. If you see the price up there and it says $15, that's Canadian. And what I would do is I'd buy these when it was half price sale. So I'd pay like about cover price for these books. So yeah, this is just a really great Vampirella where she's in the wine glass filled with blood. Just really, classic cover. And then we got this one I really like. It's very simple. And this is a Linsner cover. And girl, she's like, sort of a young Vampirella, the umbrella, and the bats flying around her. I just think it's really nice. Something subtle and simple about it. Really like that one. And sometimes I like the cosplay ones, especially the more sexy cosplay ones. This is a sexy cosplay cover. Very interesting one. And as I said, I do like the sexy ones. This is a very sexy Vampirella one. This kind of reminds me of the scene from Dracula with where there's all the dead body, like where they're feeding on all these women. And this kind of reminds me of that. So yeah, Vampirella. And I like this one. Again, another rain one. I don't know, maybe umbrellas and rain. I don't know. I can almost do that as a Friday comic challenge. I'm not sure how many people would have umbrella covers. So this is a really interesting one. And some more Linsner. Got Red Sonja. This is in Immortal Red Sonja, number 2. And I had the whole run, so you'll see. I'll show you number 3. I just like these Linsner ones, so I might as well show them. I like his style. And number 10. I have the whole run. They're not in order in the box. I have to actually organize them. And then they did a bunch of these kind of Turtles homage covers. It's like a turtle homage. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, I believe. And then this one was nice. This is like, I believe this is a Sudan. And this is like Vampirella Never Dies, or Dynamite Never Dies, or something like that. So really cool. Another Virgin variant. And there's another Dynamite Never Dies. This kind of has that old school, like a 40s style film noir poster style to it. I kind of like this one. And this one is an homage cover to Species, but it's a Dynamite. I think it's interesting looking. And then we got another, this one is in Invincible Red Sonja number 3, FOC cover. And this one I wish I had used actually for my American flag cover challenge. This is a really great one. This is 1 in 7. Red Sonja number 18. It's a really great cover. Should have used it. It's such a great cover. And then we got some more Red Sonja. I mainly went with Red Sonja because I feel like I show Vampirella too much. So these are all Red Sonja. I'm not sure if you can see Red Sonja. She's really tiny at the top of this skeleton. Skeleton Mountain. And this is one of my favorite Linsner covers. I think this one's really great. You got all the skeletons dancing and playing instruments, and then just a very sexy Red Sonja. So that's Invincible Red Sonja number 10. And this one kind of, I think, matches the Vampirella one in a way. This is another where they're just she's sort of sitting there, and there's all these half-naked people mud wrestling or something. Just think it's interesting. Another Red Sonja. And I like homages. I like ones that are a little bit parody-like. Well, this is kind of a Dr. Seuss Red Sonja parody. Like the Cat in the Hat kind of style. With Thing 1 and Thing 2. So, yeah. And this one is just a really well rendered one. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Villaggio or Villaggio, or maybe a little bit like Rosetta as well. And then sometimes I buy the black and white, just like a Finch one, black and white variants. So yeah, so those are just a very small taste of my DYNAMITE collection. So it's a pretty, as I said, it's 5 short boxes filled with comics. So I figured, hey, I'll show some cool covers. Hopefully you like those. I hope you enjoyed that. Okay, next question comes from K. Munin. Okay, this one is actually, I'm going to show some more stuff. What are the best female comic covers from your collection? From those female covers, which is the hardest to find? Okay. So I'm going to show you a bunch. Actually, I got to move stuff around a bit. And there's like a whole bunch here. So we got America Best Comics. I like Miss Mask. And this is actually, I think, the only time that she's in bondage on a cover. So I really like this one. This is America's Best Comics number 24, I believe. So yeah, just a nice Miss Mask cover. And then we have a Susie 51. It's just considered to be the grail of the Susie books. It's just a really great good girl art cover. Just kind of cute and sexy. So Susie 51. And another Archie that's really great. I always love this one. It's Archie number 50. Classic sweater, a bit of an innuendo cover as well. Just her lying on the couch, just classic cover. There's a Ginger comic I would have brought as well, but I didn't bring it. I'm sticking with slabs. So there's a lot of other great covers that I'm not showing. I have like hundreds of good girl art covers, but I'm sticking with the ones that are all slab. So just so you know, I'm not necessarily showing my top 10, but these are some of my favorites. This one I really do love as well. This is Wonder Comics number 15, and it's just a really great cover. It's Alex Schomburg cover, just a really great bondage one. I just really like this one. And this is it's also the first appearance of Tara, so kind of fun. And then we have another series that I really like. I kind of was debating about showing more from this series, but I was thinking I'll show a taste of each series. So Junior, there's another series also called Sunny, and they both have really great covers. They're all done by Al Feldstein, and I really like this one. I have the complete collection of both, and they're just really phenomenal Good Girl art covers. And the interiors are really great as well. So yeah, this is Junior number 15. And then this one, actually, I'm showing it before you guys will maybe see it in my unboxing. But this will be shown in an unboxing later. And it's just one I really liked. This is Voodoo number 14. Just a really great pre-code horror plus Good Girl art cover. I always like the mix of the two, so I think this one's a really great one. And there's a whole bunch that I didn't show that I kind of was like, should I show those? But there's just too many. I just like too many covers. So yeah, so those are, but, and this next one I've shown a bunch since I've gotten it. This is kind of like a mega grail. Is my Phantom Lady, number 17. And this is a Matt Baker cover. Just a really great cover. And it's a really high grade. It's a restored copy, but just a really high grade. So it's just it presents extremely well. You can see the colors are very vibrant on it. So this is Phantom Lady number 17. This one was also mentioned in the Seduction of the Innocent. So it's got a lot going for it. Where it's it's just such a great book. Phantom Lady number 17 with a Matt Baker cover. Okay, and next one is a really classic Jack Kamen cover. This is Brenda Starr, number 14, and just another great cover, like just a classic cover. I really like this one. I mean, there's so many books that I should have shown, but you know, I figure I'll show some great ones. This is a great one. And this one, I just like the cover for it. I always thought this was really cute. There's some cuteness to it. This is Patsy Walker number 1. I always thought this was such a cute cover. Usually I have this one behind me and on display because I really like this cover. So this is Patsy Walker number 1. And the last one, another one that I actually always have on display. You guys won't see it because it's on the other wall, but it's one that I always display because I really like it. And it's not Golden Age. Is this one, Tank Girl number 1. Always thought this was a great cover. Just so crazy. I always thought it was fun. So Tank Girl number 1. So I show all these big Golden Age books, and then I show this random modern book. This is from like 1991, and it's who did the cover? Jamie Hewlett. Just a really great cover. I just really like it. So, so those are some of my favorite Good Girl art covers. But in terms of the difficulty, which one would be the most difficult? Probably either the Patsy Walker. It's a really difficult book to find. Hard to get this one. Or the Phantom Lady. It is a pricey book, and it's a hard one to get just because of the price. And it is fairly hard to find. So definitely one that is hard to get. So the rest, you can find them. They don't come up that often, but they're a little easier to find. Maybe the Voodoo 14 is quite hard too. That was a little bit tricky to find. Saw it a couple times. The Brenda Starr, maybe a little bit. I mean, they're all relatively difficult to get. The juniors, actually, the juniors and Sunnies are quite rare as well. So pretty much all the ones I showed are pretty rare, like all under 100 on the census, except for the modern book. So yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed those. I really could have shown so many other ones. There were so many great bondage ones that I have. I have a pretty broad collection of Good Girl covers. So, but those are some of my favorite female comic covers. Okay, the next question comes from Black Box Silver and Bronze. And he always asks me some mega question that's like, I have to do a huge amount of research for. How many heralds did Galactus have, and what was all of their first appearances? So I'm going to go through it. He had 20 heralds in total. And actually, I found a site where they rank them in terms of power. So I'm going to tell you all the heralds and in order of power. And they're going to go increasing power as it goes through. So I thought that was cool. It's basically their list. So it's Willie Lumpkin. And Willie Lumpkin is actually a cool herald because he was a mailman in the comics. And they actually put him into Fantastic Four as the one bringing in all the fan mail for Fantastic Four. So it's kind of a cool character. But he actually made an earlier appearance in what's a comic called Little Lizzie #1. But he made his first appearance in Fantastic Four in Fantastic Four 11. And he became a herald of Galactus in a What If one, where he basically is what if Willie Lumpkin becomes herald for Galactus. So it's really odd, but I think they did that almost as a joke, a bit of a joke one. The next one is another kind of humorous herald. It's Golden Oldie, and it's Aunt May. So Aunt May made her first appearance in Amazing Fantasy 15, but she makes her appearance as Golden Oldie, where she's the herald of Galactus, in Marvel Team Up 137. So interesting one there. I just thought it was funny that they made Aunt May a herald. Another interesting one is Airwalker, who made his first appearance in Fantastic Four #120. And then we have Terex the Tamer, which is from Fantastic Four 211. And then we have the Destroyer armor. I thought this one was interesting. So it's not a person, it's the actual armor. So what was happening was they kept on, Galactus wanted, I think, Thor to become a herald. And Thor was like, no. But he sort of gave up the armor. He just gave up the Destroyer's armor and gave that to Galactus. And Galactus was like, okay, I'll power it up and make it a herald. And that's how the Destroyer armor became a herald of Galactus. And that happened in so the Destroyer made its first appearance in Journey into Mystery #118. So the next one is Deadpool. Deadpool actually becomes the herald of Galactus, and he's from New Mutants 98. He becomes the herald in Deadpool Team Up 883. So that's an interesting one. Another character I wasn't familiar with was Redshift, and he becomes a herald and made his first appearance in Galactus the Devourer #1. And Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, he becomes the herald of Galactus, and Johnny Storm made his first appearance in Fantastic Four #1. The Fallen One, and the Fallen One was from Thanos #11. And the Dazzler, I thought it was really interesting. So the Dazzler had her own series, and the Dazzler, in one of the, I forgot which book, but she becomes the herald very temporarily for Galactus. And Dazzler made her first appearance in X-Men 227. The next one is Sabretooth, who made his first appearance in Iron Fist 14. I was surprised that he was a herald, but I guess he was a herald. And then Nova, which is Frankie Ray Nova. She's from Silver Surfer #75, and in the comic, the cartoon, she was, kind of a prominent character as Nova. And And then Fire Lord, who made his first appearance in Fantastic Four 121. And then Stardust, who appeared in Stormbreaker Saga of Beta Ray Bill #1. And then Morg, who appeared in Silver Surfer 69. Iron Man also becomes Herald, and he was from Tales of Suspense 39. And She-Hulk becomes Herald as well, and she made her first appearance in Savage She-Hulk #1. Thor, who's from Journey into Mystery #83. I guess he temporarily becomes Herald as well. The interesting one is Superman is the #2 in terms of power level. Was Herald for a little while. I guess they had a crossover event and Superman becomes Galactus's Herald. And that was he made his first appearance in Action Comics #1. And the last one is Silver Surfer, who made his first appearance in Fantastic Four #48. So those are all the Heralds of Galactus. I have a lot of these comics, actually. Pretty much most of them. There was like 2 or 3 that I didn't have. But yeah, that would require too much digging. So I figured I'd just read them to you. Okay, the next question comes from Martin Bow. How do you know what you already own? So when you go to conventions and you're like digging through those long boxes and stuff, how do you know what you already own and avoid buying the same books that you already own? Well, I have, for the most part, a pretty good memory. For the most part. Sometimes I forget things, but for the most part, I do have a good memory. And I try to avoid buying the same books. I have bought one book like 3 times, though. I have to admit that I bought it 3 times thinking I didn't have it. Because sometimes you'll see the same books over and over again, and then like, was it in my collection or was somebody showing it? And I'm like, just for sure, just because it's such a cool book, I want to make sure I have it, and then I'll buy it like a couple times. So sometimes I'm not 100% accurate, but usually what I'll do is I don't necessarily buy off memory in terms of books that I'm chasing after. What I'll do is when I go to a convention, instead of marking down what I have, I'll look for books that I don't have. So I'll bring my want list, and my want list is huge. It's like a really long list of like a few hundred books that I'm actually looking for, and I'll just go through that whenever I'm buying books. So it's sort of the opposite way. Instead of looking for books that or trying to remember everything, I basically look for only books that are on my want list. The times that I kind of mess up, because if I showed the DYNAMITE collection, right? And a lot of those covers kind of look the same after a while. And so sometimes I'll buy a cover thinking, oh, this is a really cool cover. And then I'll be like, oh, I already have it. So I've done that a few times. So yeah, so those kind of things do happen. But for the most part, I will try to stick to my want list. Try. That's the big thing. So yeah, so the next question comes from Mike Swintel. Could you talk about the Treasury Edition large size comic books? Okay, so where did I put it? Okay, so the Treasury Edition large size comic books, I only have one from Marvel and one from DC. So I'm going to show, so both DC and Marvel had them. So we got this one, which is the famous Muhammad Ali versus Superman book. And the one I have from Marvel is Star Wars. And this is Star Wars Special Edition. This actually, I believe this actually came out before the movie, if I'm right. A film by George Lucas. Actually, no. This must have come out after. Sorry, I'm mistaken in that. So yeah, so this is an official adaptation of the 20th Century Fox blockbuster movie. I believe this came out just after the movie did. But it has a really great back cover as well. Look at this. Really awesome. So these Treasury Editions were really great. For the most part, they were reprints. I believe that reprints the the early comics, like the Star Wars early comics. But the Treasury Editions ran from 1974 to 1981. There are actually 3 groups for Marvel. There was 28 issues, which was the main Treasury Editions. And then there was the Marvel Special Edition, which had 6 issues, which were mainly, like, this one is from the Marvel Special Edition, which is 6 issues. And those ran from 1975 to 1980. And they were like, Spider-Man was the first one, and then there was like a bunch of Star Wars ones, and then there was a Close Encounters one, and then there was another more Star Wars ones. And then there was the Marvel Treasury Special, which had only 2 issues in 1974 and 1976. Now, the 74 one was reprints, and it reprinted like Fantastic Four and a Marvel Team Up #1 and some Amazing Spider-Man issues. And then the 1976 one is actually interesting because it actually prints a new story for Captain America. So that's cool. Now the first set, which is a set of 28, it started out with Spectacular Spider-Man, which reprints Amazing Spider-Man #8, 14, 42, and 90. And there was just like a whole bunch of, for the most part, they were reprints. There was very few that actually had original stories. That's why I mentioned the Treasury Special from 1976, which is an original story. So that's one to look for. And that's basically all there is to it. They're huge. They're usually, like, you can see mine. Like, this is how they end up looking, because, like, it's tattered. You can see it's all mangled. But this is how they look, because it's really hard to get a bag and board for these things. So I don't even have a bag and board for it. But this is from my original collection. We got this when it came out. And I've kept it ever since, because it is a cool book. And they're fun because, like, they're huge, fun to read as a kid. And they reprinted, some books that were, harder to get. And but at the same time, they're a little annoying to preserve because of the fact that they were so big. So yeah, so that I hope that answers your question about the Treasury Editions. And those are all the questions for this week. If you have a question you would like to ask me, and all you have to do is put it in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer your question. Thanks again for watching, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing my 3,000 subscriber giveaway very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. And thanks again for watching. Bye for now.